Hey there, this is Jess, one of the Relationship Revivalists, and we're back for our third video of the week on our love study, so we can make fear bow, as Gary V. Whetstone so eloquently titled this book. I just love the title of this book, Make Fear Bow by Gary V. Whetstone. And again, if you like this, what we're doing here, you might want to get a copy too. I would suggest everyone has a copy of this book and reads it multiple times, because there's so many key things in here that it's not just, for me, I've found it's not just like a good informational read. There are key points that have sunk into my heart that the Holy Spirit has been able to remind me of over and over again these past few weeks. And it's really helped me to push anxiety out of the way so I can do what God's asked me to do. And so I think everyone should have this book. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, we're going to continue on. We're still in chapter 4. We're just going to kind of soak there for a little bit more throughout this week, but it's so worth the time that we're taking. Chapter 4, again, is called Believing Information as It Naturally Appears, and we talked quite a bit about that last video. So if you're not sure what that means, go to the last video. You'll find the answer there. Today, I want to highlight a few key points that Gary Whetstone talks about in chapter 4. And he mentions some really great examples in the Bible of stories. But first, before we do that, we need to be reminded, like he reminds us in the book, Gary talks about, remember to keep God as your source of information. Yes, we need to see what's going on in the world, what's going on in our natural realm. We need to know. But he encourages us to limit watching the news, for example. Watch enough so you know, but all day diet of it can really produce fear sometimes. So make sure that you're watching those things with God, right? So let God talk to you as well. So we need to know what's going on, but we don't want to let it make us get into fear. And so when we know what's going on and we allow it to make us get into fear, he calls that a calculated pessimism. And he gives a lot of examples where people in the Bible looked at their situations with a calculated pessimism. I never thought of myself as a pessimist before, but when I was reading this, I was thinking, wow, I've kind of been a pessimist a lot, if you think of it in the way of calculated pessimism, like that this is why it won't work out. Well, I don't want to be like that. I want to always, have faith in God and look at what God's plan is. So that's why I encourage everyone to ask God, what do you say about this situation? Because for one, he will get the answer to us when we ask him that. And then also when we get the answer, we know how God sees it working out. What's it going to be like? How's it going to play out? God doesn't keep those things from us. He wants us to know, at least a little bit, so we can keep going on in faith with him. And so he talks about when Jesus feeds the 5,000 men, and then there's plus women and children, and that whole cool miracle when Andrew brings the little boy's lunch, when he found, there's one little boy who thought ahead, I guess, to bring a small lunch just for him. But I really like how Gary pointed out that the other disciples had the calculated pessimism. They didn't really pass the test. They were, like, there's nothing. This is, we don't have anything. We would have to either pay for everyone to eat, and that's way too expensive, or we'd have to let them leave so they can go into surrounding villages to try to buy food. That would take a long time. We don't have any answers. But Andrew, one of the disciples, brought the little boy's lunch to Jesus, and even though he didn't know what could be done with it, he said, well, there's these 5 loaves and 2 fish, and basically, can you do anything with it? And in the book, Gary said Andrew passed the test, and I love that. It's like, I love to see when people do it the right way, because I can pattern my life after that. I like to see those good models of doing it, like winner, he passed the test. So, how can I pass the test in my own life? And all through the book, Gary points out we can use what we have in our hands right now. We don't have to, we can't do everything God asks us to do in our own power. He will never ask us to do something that we can just do in our own power. He will always ask us to do something that we have to bring God into it to get the job done. So Andrew passed the test simply by, here's what I have. Can you do anything with it, God? And Jesus did, of course. We know the story. He multiplied the food. Everyone ate till they were filled, and they had a bunch of leftovers after that. So he passed the test. So how can we think about that in our own lives? You know, maybe in your own relationship right now, you're thinking, I have a problem in a relationship right now. This is what it is. I can't do anything on my own about it. Or we can think instead, well, Lord, this is what I have. I can give you myself. I can give you my love that I still have in my heart for my husband. And that's all I have. That's all I can give. And God will say, I can do something with that. And he can help you. And so ask him, Lord, what do you want me to do? What do you say about my relationship? What do you say about my situation? And he's going to get the answer to you. And it's going to be really, really great. And with that, I will see you in the next video.